Hello, footies, and welcome back again for another episode of Tuesday Club 2.0. I might add, we have Neil and Homer with us. Hello, Neil. Hey, Homer.
Hey guys, hey, nice to meet you again.
Hey, thanks for having me back on.
Awesome to have you here. So, essentially, let's get going, folks. I think one of the things that we like to discuss is go backwards and forwards of how our week has been, what things have happened over the week, and just let's open the floodgates and let's start with right. Let's start with you, Neil. Just I know Homer's got a lot more to say on this topic, and we'll get there. Well, let's start with you, Neil. How was your week in Ultimate Team? What'd you do with Rivals, Champs? What did you do?
The competitive side of it, Rivals and Champs, was pretty much what I was saying last week. Exactly the same. Really hard, wondering why I do it, to be honest. It was tough. seven wins, back to the 7 wins again. So that's 3 7s and an 8 I've had, or 2 7s and an 8. So the Rivals, I've just battered them and got them out of the way again. I'm still in Division 5. I'm only a few games away from Division 4 with the season ending Thursday. I've no aspirations to push into Division 4, frankly. I find it really stressful. However, I think Gauntlet this week specifically, and I've got mixed views on how they've approached it. This week for me has been a big win in the sense of making it more of a casual experience rather than a must win your games to get a Benzema approach. I've enjoyed this week's approach. I wouldn't want this approach every week. But
Yeah.
I think after the way Rivals and Champs and the Silver Lounge had went last week, I think a casualer experience online was required to kind of bring everyone's heart rate back down, for me anyway. So I think it's okay. Content, I don't know, are we discussing content just now?
Of course. Might as well throw it in.
Content's been fantastic. The content has been in line with what we would probably have at, say, a Black Friday promo. Or I think they've scrunched the power curve, and I think they've got the power curve flung that out the window, which probably isn't a bad thing. But I think the content this week has been phenomenal for what you can get. They've brought back something for everything, haven't they? They've brought back high-end player SBCs, they've brought mid-range player SBCs. Mixed league SBCs are back. Daily upgrades for bronze, silvers, and golds for the nerds out there that like to do that kind of stuff. Like me, I'm not done any league SBCs yet. They're too expensive. I'll probably wait a few weeks. But it's all there. Everything's there to grind now. So I think it's great. In that sense, it's great. That's my experience this week. Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree with a lot of things. I think we'll touch back on content, especially I think you're going to review one of your players is based on the content that was released. The player in review is based on the content that was released this week. And we'll talk more about the league SPCs and some of the other parts of content, a little bit more detail shortly in the show. But with regards to the gameplay, let's just get Homer's thoughts as well. Homer, how was your week in Ultimate Team this week?
How to approach this one? I've got my rival wins very quickly. I'm 1 win off Division 3, so good from that aspect. I went 11 wins in Weekend League, so
good.
That was 9, 9, 9. Now it's 11, so better again. I was Elite 1 in squad battles again. I've only played 1 game of Gauntlet so far. I won it, but it's not been enjoyable. It's not been fun. I feel the new patches holding far too many people's hands for my liking. That it's making players that once was an easy breeze, a slog. They play into the fact that they're being helped out. And I know it's a whole level of the skill gap, whatever. And if somebody says to me, "Oh, you must abuse R1 or whatever once again," or you're one of these skill cancels, I'll just show you. This is my hands. I wear straps literally all the time. I don't have the hand capacity or speed to do all the flicks, the tricks. I'm just a passer and mover. And I just find the gameplay is really dull. I'm struggling with the constant 2 CDMs, the sitting back, allowing AI to help you out constantly. I'm winning, I'm doing well. It's just the fun aspects just disappeared slightly for me.
Completely. I think we can discuss the patch, and I think there's certain things that I really want to. I've had some not ammunition, but I have things kept aside to talk to you about the patch with regards to connectivity, and maybe that's probably even though some of the things that come out from the EA webpage of connectivity is sometimes I feel like it's gaslighting me when I look at the stuff and I've had a really horrible game and I look at the thing on the EA connectivity side and it says perfect game and I'm like, no, it's not really a perfect game. So we can discuss the patch in a few moments as well. Before I do that, let's quickly run through my week in multiple teams as well. It's been pretty okay. It's been decent. Been in rivals, made halfway through Div 5 and just enjoying Div 5 a little bit. Champs, didn't really want to play champs, and then I saw Wimby got bloody in Nico Williams and Mendes, the fullback, in his champs rewards. I thought, I really want to go ahead and go play champs. I got 8 wins, which is not a bad result. Got nothing out of it, which is okay. Not really asking for anything, but I did. I must admit, I did enjoy my champs run, and I'll go through that. I think it's got something to do with certain things that I found the way to play the game right now is slightly different to what I was doing before. I've changed little things. I've learned a few things of play movement. It's not as smooth as we'll talk about that when we talk about the patch notes and even the formation review. But one of the biggest things I really want to talk about is the Gauntlet. It's the change to the Gauntlet and change from how. Exactly as you said, Neil. I think we're all tired of sweating it out every single game mode. Last week we were sitting here complaining like we can't really get a break. We can't just continue to do it. I think I'm glad that EA has actually listened a little bit. It's trying to help the community, although this is not a really one size fits all, because I saw quite a lot. You must have experienced this as well, Neil, where you had a lot of people just rubber banding against you, which is kind of annoying.
But I didn't mind. If I was going to get a win out of it, then I could go and do something myself. So it didn't really bother me, to be honest.
I think
somebody wants to rubber band against me, that's great.
That's the part of the community that really confuses me sometimes is why would you rubber band? Why would you just play the damn game? You don't have to win, just play the damn game. And that's the part that really confuses me. I'm not a big fan of the rubber banding thing that we've all gotten used to and comfortable with, and it's okay. I completely take your point that we can get the win, but it's wasted 20 minutes of my time or 15 minutes or 10 minutes of my time and especially I think I hate it more in competitive gameplay when someone rubber bands you because you're fully into it, you win the game, and the next game you go in, you're fully ready, and then someone rubber bands you, you lose that momentum of your game, and that really annoys me. But hey, that's by the way. Regardless, I think the changes to the Gauntlet from wins to play is a good thing, but again, there's certain things that have to be certain kinks that have to be ironed out. I think with the rewards as well, Homer, you'll find it when you actually play. You've got to lose certain games to get the whole thing, which is weird, which is a kind of a weird thing that I completely didn't take that into account. And I missed out on 83-10 just because I won more games than I should have. And I don't know. I found that whole thing slightly confusing. I read some people online that said win 2 games, lose 1 game, win 2 games, lose 1 game, and win 3 games. And there's a mechanic of how you need to go through it. And I just thought this is bullcrap. This is a lot of work to try and keep up with. I just went and played my normal game, and Neil, you had to say something.
Just out of interest, do you think this is a good thing every Gauntlet, every week in, week out, or do you think it's I personally think it's a good thing every so often, but I think competitive players or the ones that want to get the card to say, yes, I've got this card, I think there still should be room for them as well. What do you think about that?
I think you're quite right there. I think it would be good to have, if everyone gets a Benzema, it doesn't feel special anymore. But every time I see a Kudus in there, I feel like that envy. And that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing anyway. It's just the envy because I know that this player is a good player to actually achieve a card like that. So it makes me feel like it's aspirational. So we need to have a good balance. I think it's a really good thing that you mentioned there. We need to have some weeks where we have a Gauntlet like we've had this week, and some weeks where you just got to win to get this particular special card. The card doesn't have to be this, Mbappe. It can just be a regular, like a Kudus card. It's a perfect example who's just good enough for the power curve for that stage of the game, but he's not really. You're not going to miss out too much in a couple of weeks, but it's a good badge of honor. It's a really good badge of honor. I think it's probably not a bad thing, but I think a lot of people are cool with cosmetics. I don't know how you guys feel about cosmetics. Does that even interest you? Like kits
Massively.
or,
it does for
No?
me. I love cosmetics, yeah. I love the look of players
cool.
and dynamic images and stuff like that. Absolutely.
Well, what about those badges that you get on your card that you could put a champs badge or or victory badge? That I think this time when you finish the Gauntlet, you get some sort of Gauntlet badge that you can put onto your players. Does that interest you? It doesn't interest me at all. It's not something that I'm
I don't use them. No, I like a dynamic image in a player, and I like the card designs and
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
I don't use champs badges and stuff. No.
Yeah, that's the sort of stuff that I think a lot of people are okay with getting that as a privilege and you can put on your cards, but not really. Doesn't really float my boat. But I know last year, if you remember, I think it was champs. I think he had to get 15-0 in champs. I can't remember what it was. It was a special badge. I think forgetting Maldini. I can't remember. There was something that last year when we won, we get the special badge that you put onto your card, and that shows that you're like an elite player. I can't remember what it was right now. My memory is playing games with me, but there's things like that certain people in the community do like. I think certain people in the community don't like the fact that we get cards that are gate kept from the majority of the community. I think I agree with you, Neil. I think it's good to have the gauntlet that we had this week, but also like a variety of something else where it's really hard to attain a particular card because the Benzema card got him. I know he's good. I've heard he's really good, but just because the fact that everyone else has got him just takes that little bit of joy away from me. I think that's what's your take? Have you used it? Give it Benzema, Neil?
I had a wee shot on him, yeah. Last night he was okay. He's
Yeah.
similar to Pina, similar, not as agile, but certainly has great attributes. He's got, was it finesse shot, power shot, game
Low
changer,
driven plus.
and low driven plus. So he's had great cards in the past. People are comparing him to an 86 flashback card a few years ago.
Oh, is it that good?
I thought it was okay. He's not as good as my evil Rashford, so he's back.
Oh yeah,
He's got on my bench, but the card design is really cool. Plus, he'll get a 99 stat. Am I right in saying he'll get a 99 stat for a couple of days, and he'll get
yeah.
plus goals?
He should.
So,
Yeah, he should.
He should be French as well. So okay, he's in the Saudi league, but there's a French enough as a link. He should be able to. People will use him, and I've not really played against him so far, but I think he'll be a popular card to keep about the club. Probably potential future Evos as well. You could be saying that for the next few months, but in 86, how far away are we from 86 Evos? Maybe a couple, 2 months or so. Fit an Evo nicely. So it's a nice card to get, especially since you didn't have to work too hard for it.
Absolutely. You can't deny the fact that we've all got a good card. It's just that personally just is not as special. Homo, I would love to hear your thoughts on what do you think about the way the gauntlet's going.
Again, the EA need to find this sort of the middle ground. They need to figure out what they're actually doing in this game now. So, are they addressing it for the casuals, or is it this gateway to the pro scene? And they need to pick a lane and really stick to it and stop flip flopping a bit for me. We play a football game to win games. That's the whole nature of football. So, do you know what I mean? Well, if we all played football in real life, you want to win the league. If you play football in FC, you want to win the game. You want to win your divisions. You want to go up. So the whole idea that you're playing just to participate, it's a bit naff for me personally. In my opinion, I want to win things. I want that prestige, that ego boost that comes with it. I did get Diouf. I did get Kudus. To be honest, Kudus has never played for me. I think he got a couple of Gauntlet games, but it doesn't suit the way I play. Diouf is on my bench. He's a good backup player. Probably could get in my first team, but I don't have the links for him in my first team. So I kind of think if they wanted the long-term approach, give the play to win players something, but then also give the players that want to win games something. There's an easy enough middle ground there to have it. Like there's a sort of the cosmetic badge. It's nice. I got the champs one for season 1. It's dumped on somebody. I don't even know who I dumped it on. It's probably one of my Rangers evil players because I tend to put a lot of the cosmetic stuff on my Rangers players. It's a nice badge of honour. It's cool that I got it, but the cards are people will notice the cards more than the badge. I think so. If you do have that Benzema, people and you won that Benzema, you didn't just play and got him. People would be like, right, I'm coming up with somebody good. And when I see things like that, it pushes me to play a bit better because then I know that I'm coming up against somebody good. I find it has that small element of good because it does raise your game when you see somebody that you know, wow, he must have been good. But you've got to sort of cater for everybody. That it's you could go down that whole route with everything with the pack store. Everybody complains about all the packs in the pack store, but a lot of people don't have the time to play the amount of hours we play, but they have the money to put in. So you need to give them that avenue to keep up. So there's no one size fits all, and it's down to you to figure out what way they're going to go with the game. But I think there is some way that you could do both ways of playing to win and win to win in one gauntlet, and everybody comes out happy. Well, I say everybody, but we know this community, the player base, there will be people that will moan because that's somehow still not good enough. But I've only played one game, and the guy was toxic as anything. He was 2-0 up by the first half, and I think he expected me to quite a rubber band on him. It's not my style. And within, I kept getting close, and he kept defending too deep for me to get anywhere. And then from the 75th minute, he started passing it around. And the press in this game isn't really good, but I've managed to figure out a way that somehow works that you don't have to constantly hold second man press and whatever. And I forced him into enough errors. I managed to get it back to 2 each and beat him in extra time. And I was so tempted to message him, but I refrained. But
You should.
no, it's not my character. Like, I just want to play my
No,
games.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. You should refrain to message them. Don't message players. It's not good.
Yeah. Neil, yeah, you had a hand up.
I want to come on to that. Well, I just want to kind of reinforce what Homer just talked about there about coming up. How many games do you reckon you play over a full year in FIFA?
Thousands.
I remember a game. I actually remember a full game, and I was playing a rivals game, and I was playing left. I played against the baby Maldini left back, and I was playing the same guy had the mic on right back, the 31 mic on, whatever it was, right? And I wanted to quit the game. I was like, oh Christ, I'm not playing this guy. This guy's going to be beaten 3-1. But 1-0 down, and I came back. And I remember the game. How many? You play thousands of games a year. I remember that one game. Beating that one guy who managed to get the mic on in a Maldini, and I beat him 3-1. Made me feel great. And I still remember the game. So that just kind of enforces what Homer's saying. It's a good thing to have players like that where you can get them and say, wow, this guy's got him, he must be good, or he must have achieved something. It's nice to do it so often.
Completely agree. I think the good middle ground for this particular gauntlet would be the fact that you only get Benzema if you actually win the 3 in a row. But if you don't win 3 in a row, you get everything else. Everything else, all those other rewards, all those packs and everything, you get them. It's just that Benzema might be behind that wall of winning 3, which kind of makes that special again. I probably will never get the Benzema, but that's besides the point. That's at least something aspirational that I can try. But along the way, I'm going to get everything else, which is okay. It's just I missed that one thing, which I think even if it's that way, the problem is I think every game becomes like a war-ish unless you make your mentality of, okay, you know what, I'm just going to go get the packs and just move on. If I can get the 3 wins and get Benzema, great. Otherwise, I'm just going to go for the packs. I think having this 1 week on, 1 week off, where we have 1 week where we can actually access the card, and the next week it goes back to the Kudu style or the Diouf style, I think the community would be okay with it. We would know certain weeks, okay, this is going to be a hard week, let's just try and get the packs. Some weeks it's like, oh, we get a free card. I think that's probably a really good middle ground, because if they keep it the way it is right now, I have a feeling that the people will just, I think it'll miss the desired effect. Yes, Homer?
Just what you're saying there, maybe the solution is that there's 2 cards, so everybody doesn't lose out in a certain way. So say you play 15 games, you get a card. Try to think of somebody, for example, Conor Gallagher. You get Conor Gallagher. He's pretty reasonable, good. You get that because you played all the games. However, if you play all the games and you somehow are good enough to manage a perfect round in Gauntlet, you get that Benzema, who's a slightly better card. There is, like I said, there's middle grounds, there's way to do it. Like, would that appease people? Like, if we said, here's a good, reasonable card that you get because you've done it. You can show everybody that you played, you've done well. It's not a cosmetic patch that nobody cares about. But also, if you're super good, here's a better card as well. Would that, do you think, appease people?
No, I think it will make it just just make the whole thing sweaty, because everyone will want that card. I think you've got to have a week without it and a week with it. I think if you put a better, say they had it the way it was this week with Benzema, say they put, a bit extreme, but say they had another Saudi striker from that league, say not. I've got to say Ronaldo. It's the only one I can think of.
Pretty good.
Imagine they put an 87 Ronaldo in that, and yet you only got him by winning so many games. Do you imagine how the experience would turn from sit back and enjoy to full on sweat over one card?
Yeah,
That's what would happen, you know?
But
that's
we
what the
have that
community
already,
will.
though. It's
Yeah,
a game where you've
exactly.
got to. It's football. You've got to try and win the game. It's the nature of the game. You've got to win.
Yeah,
So
that's true. But it's a case of if you're getting beat, say you're getting beat 3-0, you're not sitting in the huff going, oh Christ, I'm getting beat. I mean, you're just saying, all right, I've lost the game, I'll move on to my next game. Because you know you're getting the card. But that's my thoughts in there.
I think not only the casuals, I think some of the people in our Discord itself don't really engage with some of the other matches, other game modes, because of how, I mean, they've got enough stress with champs and rivals that don't want to add another thing, which is probably completely reasonable. But I think just opening it up will allow them to engage and play, and then you might get a whole variety of play. A player base might also be varied, and you can have a different game rather than, again, as EA say, white knuckle games. And I think, yeah, it's good that they're trying. They're trying something. I know it's not ideal. I don't think they can ever find a solution that works for everyone. But as long as they do mix and match, where they had Kudus last week, or Dave last week, and Kudus before that, and now they have Benzema. Next week they go back to a Kudus style. Well, I think that's a middle ground that I'm kind of comfortable with. I don't want it to be all this way, and I don't want it to be all that way. So let's see. I think it's interesting that they're taking feedback, and I think one of the things that talking about feedback, it dovetails into our patch thoughts, and I think I really want to get both your takes on the patch notes and the patch that's here. And is EA listening to a lot of feedback, and are they getting the right kind of feedback? What's your thoughts, Homer?
They are listening to a lot of feedback, but they told us that during the summer that they were browsing all the forums, all the Discords, the Reddit threads, you name it, Twitter. They were looking at everything, they were hearing everything, they were feeding it all back into their system, and this new game was designed based on everything we complained about, and they made a game based on it. So we started the game, and I felt it was very similar to Team of the Year's time last year. Remember when we got the patch and the game just felt fresh, it felt amazing, and then it done that usual. Everybody complains about it being too attacking, too many goals, and it goes back to this slogfest of try to beat the defense, and it's a 1-0 win. So, like I said last week in some other pods, I was happy for the defense to be boosted. I felt tackling was pretty weak. It struggled still from a large very degrees. Like jockeying wasn't good enough. But I did caveat saying that if you were going to touch defense, you had to leave the attacking side of it alone, because there's no way to tell if attacking was truly overpowered if you're dulling attacking and boosting defending in the same hand. And for me, it's made the game worse. And I know everybody goes, well, if you're moaning about it, it's just because you do the RB thing. Like I said, I'll show you again, guys, if you can watch this. My hands are strapped up. I have arthritis. I have emphasis. I don't have the skills for that, nor the facilities. So, like, it's just silly things. Like they've tried to fix the attack and run to stop players going offside. It annoys me that no end. I like sending my players on dummy runs. Left trigger, left one trigger, left bumper trigger them. I want them to go offside. I want them to make the other person think, oh, he's going there with that player. That's a run I want done. Now I send him a run, and he gets up to the defender and goes, oh, I can't go by you, mate. And you're like,
yeah,
wait, stop, go. I want you to make space. And it's like, there's so many wee things that they've done, try to improve the game. And it's like, no, you've actually made it worse for me. And I think if a lot of people hear that, they might go, oh, actually, yeah, I've not noticed that, but that makes sense that corner, if they fix corners for you guys think, because I'm still scoring, I'm still conceding that these corner goals, that it's the same as the kickoff that the patch that passed, like, oh, we fixed kickoffs and it was worse. I don't think they've fixed corners at all. It doesn't seem that way for me, that I can still score within 2 to 4 passes. If I put in a cross, I can still score them. And it's like, they are listening too much. They're taking in too much complaints, and they probably feed into this new debate about goalkeeper movement. That should we have it? Should we not? And I think it's going to be, again, they're going to remove a tool and then it's going to be back to complaints because whatever have happened. That like we had Nep and a few other people saying that this patch was amazing, and then after 4 or 5 days, they're all complaining that actually it's not a good thing that Nep was threatening to retire. How bad it was. So
Uh, Before I give my thoughts, Neil, what's your thoughts on the gameplay after the patch, and also the feedback that he is getting from various Discords?
Homer's last sentence there was 100% accurate. They're listening too much. They are listening too much. I'm now of the opinion where I wish they'd just back their own game. I wish they would just release their game at the start and back it and just get on with the game. They've got it for a year. I can understand that they've got to fix major glitches like the rainbow flicks into volleys. That's got to be fixed. And the kickoff thing, as I said last week, really needed fixing. I also said, was it last week or the week before, where I said when you were jockeying with your L2 and you felt as if your controller was broken.
Mm.
I mean, the amount of worn out L2 players I've probably played in champs, everyone's just holding L2 and sitting with their feet up. That's the game at the moment. They've went from on the screen here. They've went from here to here. They've put the jockeying, the buffing, they buffed it far too far. L2, you can hold L2 and run just as fast as a player dribbling now. It's not the way it should be. If you're playing a high line, you're catching players out of offside loads of times, and vice versa. The fact that why did they touch the attack and Apak Lamine Yamal bang on when they put the technical dribble on? So, and to be honest, if he still dribbles well, and I'm still getting players that are L1 dribbling good against me, fidget spinners as such as I call, that's still there, but that's not a complaint. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think all they had to do was fix the kick-off goals. They say fix the corners, Homer. You're absolutely right. Corners are the same. And a slight buff in the defending with the jockeying. Nothing else needed touched, but they took it too far. And they shouldn't be listening to the community. I think not listening to the community. I don't think they should be putting the opportunity out there. I think if they bring out a game, they've got a year to work on a game. Bring the game out, back the game. I don't play many other computer games, to be honest. Do any other games do this? Do any other games change their game 3 or 4 times a year?
Yeah. I think John talks about this very frequently. I think Diablo is one of the games that he mentions, and he talks about seasons, and he talks about the game literally changing at the end of the season, almost revamping into a brand new game at the start of the new season, which is kind of makes logical sense. But I think we're not used to that sort of cutoff at the end of the season, which probably makes sense. If we had this first season to experience the game the way it was, then they make a change in the second season and release the cards that are more liable to play, more set to play the game the way it was. The patch has affected the players. Kind of makes sense. So I think this halfway house in between. I understand where people are coming from. And I think one of the things I really wanted to bring it up with you guys is I brought it up at the start of the show is about connectivity. Is one of the things I found is that age-old thing about the laggy feeling of the players and movement at certain points, especially in champs. I felt that thing where our players were not moving as freely anymore. I just felt like everything was a bit delayed and sluggish, and the left stick dribbling was not there. I had to I found something, I can't remember, one of the content creators spoke about using L1 and then R1 straight away after that, and in and around the box. Yeah, Crossy, I think it was him. And that really... Does that help? Did that work for you?
I'm not into that. That goes against my style of play. But within 6 hours of the patch and R being completely nerfed, here's Crassy going, I spent all night, and this is what you do: tap L1, hold, tap R1, tap L1, tap R1, and look at you can fidget spin galore.
Yeah.
But the thing is, fidget spinning wasn't down to just the R bumper, the R1. It was mainly down to the left stick speed.
Left stick only, yeah.
Correct. You can still do it with the left stick. You don't need to press L1 and R1 or whatever fancy combinations these content creators come up with. But it was still, the main mechanic's still there. It doesn't matter if you change the speed. You can still spin and spin and spin. But 6 hours it took Crassy to figure out how to get around it. It was a pointless exercise, to be honest.
Uh, but one of the things I found with that same thing is when the gameplay is laggy, using that at the edge of the box is giving me that movement that I was able to do with the before the patch. I don't really know because it's not really addressed that in the patch. It's not really supposed to be impacted by the patch, but I felt certain times of the game is actually laggy and heavy, and that's probably why enjoyment. Because if the game's already laggy and heavy, and then a defensive boost is there where the defenders can jockey. And one of the things you hit the nail on the head there, Neil. I think all three of us spoke about buffing jockey. I think the buff jockey, which is great, but if you make a mistake, you can easily get back. There's no big drama. You can
Spam
just
tackling's
bring it.
back as well now. People are tackling
That's
you
the
with eight. People are tackling you now with 8 foot legs from behind and getting the ball. It's back. That's back.
Oh, that
I,
drives
I
me
haven't
nuts.
really experienced it. I haven't experienced the tackle backs too much, but I have experienced the fact that if I'm either I pull my CB out of the defensive line or my opponent does that, it doesn't really impact because in the past you make one mistake with your center back, you're screwed. There's almost no recovery. You should be very careful with how you move with your center backs, which kind of makes sense. So I think that the balance is slightly off. They've buffed defending a little bit too much, which is not too bad. But then they've nerfed attacking a little bit as well. I don't really know exactly how they nerfed attacking, but it's not as fluid as it was. The passing is not as crisp as a lot of. Having said that, I think I'll go through later on with certain things that are how I'm using it to certain things that I'm using to circumvent some of the frustration that I had with the passing and the movement. I'll talk about that, but in with regards to the feedback collection from EA, I think we just have to take a macro view, take a step back, and think about exactly what we're saying is the fact that we want this company to take our feedback. But again, I think a measured output of the feedback is probably more useful than just changing things on based on okay, goalkeeper now it's this next step will be goalkeeper movements. Then it'll be I think what was the next thing? It would be player locking and things that we don't I don't I've used player locks in squad battles. I don't really try and use player locks in other parts because every time I try using player lock in champs I screwed up, so I try my best not to use it. But we just have to be a little bit more measured how these changes are affected rather than just do it within a season. I think just space it out a little bit and give some players some warning and some ideas. That probably would help. Neil.
I don't want them to take our feedback. That's what I'm saying. I don't want them to take our feedback. I want them to release a game and back their game. I thought the game at the start was. Everybody said it was a breath of fresh air. It was great. Dribbling was great. Defending was hard, but you had to learn it. So learn the game. That should be how it should be. Learn the game. We've got a year to learn that.
But
And it felt like
should
why do we have to? Why do they have to ask the community how they feel? And if the community are saying defending's too hard, all right, we'll change the game. Why do they have to do that? Do you think they should be doing that?
it's a double-edged sword for EA because we've been bashing them all along for years on end, saying they need to take on defeat. They need to listen to the community feedback. And again, community is not just us; it's a whole wide community that's got people that are outside the levels that we think of. But at the end of the day, they're trying. I don't think that we can't bash them for trying because they're trying to listen to the consumers of the games. Most of the other games, yeah, I don't play many other games, but I have engaged with Helldivers and other games during my time at home. I'm not sure if you play other games as well. They do act. One of the biggest things that they try and actively do is listen to what the community is saying and try and nerf things and based on community feedback. Is that's how a good thriving game should actually work, is taking community feedback, but also taking a measured approach. This is what the community is saying. But the actual problem is probably this. That would be the best output. But I think just the way it's going right now, I think we've gone from no listening, no feedback, nothing, EA doing whatever the hell they want, to now listening to every single voice of the community. I think it's too much of a shift too quickly. But I think we can't, personally, I don't think we can bash EA for listening. They're trying to do the right thing. It's not executing it the way we want it to execute, but at least they're trying, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get it's a fresh approach, and it's something that they've not really engaged in much. So we always moaned that they didn't come out and say things, I suppose. So it's difficult in the sense of trying to get a balance there.
Exactly. It's not easy being EA, and I think I must commend them for trying. they can try a little bit harder, maybe a little bit more engagement. I think a little bit more communication here and there, have a dialogue. I think they did, if I'm not mistaken, one of the devs actually came out on spoke about the R1, for example, just the R1, the technical dribble, spoke about how they want to they tweak, they're trying to tweak it back for it to come back. Maybe once they tweak that back, the way the game feels. I know it's not just the R1 dribbling, but dribbling as a whole and the way the game felt was probably impacted by that one little change that they did with, by nerfing the R1. I'm not saying it's just the R1, but just the way the players were coded to move has had an impact. I think let's just hope that they can come up with a solution there. But I think listening to the community is not a bad thing. It's just about trying to address the balances between the community and making sure the player base as a whole is comfortable, not just a small pocket, and not just a pocket of the player base that'll be here for now, and then off they go within a couple of weeks. They're not really going to play the game as much, but they're happy to give feedback, and they're not going to be playing the game. So you got to be careful as to who they listen to. But again, I think one of the things I shared on the Discord and shared with a couple of people today was one of the videos made by AA9 Skills, who's a active member of the community, who's mentioned the fact that one of the biggest problems with gaming as a whole is the fact that we've all gone from being a gaming sort of situation where it was fun to more competitive gaming, which is not a bad thing, but it's got to a pro gaming, which has gone to a next level where everything is designed to be competitive and nothing else. And I think one of the things that really resonated with me with the fact that we play to have fun as well. And I do want to win. I do enjoy winning, but also sometimes I don't want to just put my thing down and say, okay, I've got to give up my life to play this game. I just want to enjoy myself a little bit here and there as well. So I think that's where I think most of the casuals, we don't want to drive them off, because if every game is going to be super hard for them, they'll just be off.
So they do protect the casuals now. Like they've given them challengers, like they've brought in the play to win aspect. But like football's a game, like I said, you're meant to win. That's the objective. So for me personally, I go in with the mindset, I want to win. I want to do well. I want that prestige of. I don't boast about it to anybody else, to be honest, but I like just the self prestige to myself when I go, oh, I got 11 wins this week. That's better, or I can go unbeaten in gauntlets and whatever. It's that self good like feeling that I get from it. But Neil, you're asking like, why did they do such and such? Money's the main driving factor. Like,
of course it is, yeah.
They've got in-game advertisement now.
Mm.
That's money. The more players that are playing, the more money they make. The more money that we spend in pack stores. So they listen to try and keep us happy to ensure that they get their profits at the end of the week. But you're saying, Shaq, do I play other games? I play a lot of games, and I'm quite fortunate that I test a lot of games. Skate, the new Skate game, I was testing that from the alpha build up to the access. There's a management game. I can't say too much about that. A test that should be coming out this year, hopefully. That after a long delay, I'm actually part of training modules for a couple of companies because I'm colorblind.
Oh, nice.
So one company reached out to me because I'd complained about their colorblind mode just being pathetic, and they had a Zoom call with me, and like we went through the whole aspect of that, and then they passed me on to somebody else, and I've spoke to them about how colorblindness affects gamers. So I've tested FC, FIFA for years and years and years, and I find one of the biggest things is that they listen to too much. With the management game that I mentioned there that I can't talk too much about, but I asked them, what do they actually want people to be testing? What's the things? And they say, just play and figure it out. And you're like, yeah, but then as I'm going through what people are feeding back, people are going try and doing stupid stuff, and they're doing this stuff to like test the limits to no end. And you're like, is that what you really want? Like fix the actual problems. Like you said, John came up with the Diablo thing. I think that would be the perfect fix. Season 1, you play the game as we give you it. If there's problems, give us all. Season 2, we'll launch a patch. This is what the game will be. Feed it back. Season 3, we fix it. So then you've got this regular structure. You know it's going to come out at a certain point. The game's going to be affected at a certain point. But then it's this whole, we're waiting to see what they're going to do now. Like,
I think the first time I heard about Diablo and the way they ran the seasons, that was mind blowing. How good a simple concept can actually be executed, And I think that's something that EA should probably take note of, unless something is super broken where it like kick off like rainbow flicks and things. Unless it's a huge thing that has to be fixed, just let it be. Let people breathe. It's okay. There's going to be an end of the season. 6 weeks is not a long time. People can get used to it. And then when you make the change, communicate towards the end of the season, saying, "Hey, these are the changes. These are the things that we've got." And then let's see. Let's try season 2. And if season 2 doesn't work in season 3, you bring it back. Bring certain things back from season 1. And also, the content, the players will also have an impact, and that's the beauty of you get brand new cards. They can design their content based on what they've done with the patch. It just makes it all every single season is fresh and exciting. And for example, if in season 2 suddenly if they make Cross is really good for whatever reason. People like Crouch and stuff will be viable, and we'll be using players like that in season 2. And then season 3, we go back to Tiki Taka again or whatever it is. And that it's just adding that variety to the game rather than just making this random change. Technical players are not used, well, they're still good, but they're not as good as they were before then. That's the part that I think it's just got people a bit offside. But look, hey, I can't fault them for trying. They probably need to try a little bit more measured approach, but can't fault them for trying is just my perspective. Right. Moving on, let's just go through some of the questions that we've received from the pod. And I think we'll go back to one of the questions one of the things, the topics that we wanted to cover as well, Neil, is about the fear of missing out as well. So, question from Grandpapa Mac is, as someone who plays only rivals, squad battles, and Little Rush, what other game modes should I consider for enjoyment for rewards versus time? What do you think, Neil?
Is there any other game modes? Just run them off, did it not?
Well, what about all the gauntlets and the silver modes and the live events?
Grandpapa Mac seems to be quite similar to me, where he doesn't like the stress. I might be wrong. You could tell me otherwise. From what I gather from him, he seems to be quite a laid back player. Doesn't like getting involved in the stress. This week, as we've discussed, this week's Gauntlet's perfect for something like me and him, where you can pick the controller up, you win, lose, or draw. You're just sitting chilling, playing a computer game. That is a great game mode this week. I don't think it should be a game mode in every week, as we've already discussed. But for what you should play week in, week out, I think if you play squad battles and rivals and you're getting rewards on a Thursday and a Sunday, it should be quite. And Rush as well.
Yeah.
If you get your Rush points, especially when Rush can be quite a drag when there's no promo attached to it, where you're only getting 1,000 Rush points and you need to get 70,000, and you're sitting going, "Oh, I'm never going to get this." When they put a promo into Rush and they double the Rush points, and you can get 78,000 Rush points at a time. I think that's a good mode as well to get some quick and easy packs. And again, it's not life or death where you win the game or not. You try your best, but you're never playing with the right players half the time. If there's a good kind of promo involved in Rush, then it's a good thing to pick up and get quick rewards in, which that's what I would recommend for me.
Yeah, no, that's completely fair. I think I'll just dovetail into Adam's question as well, and he complains the fact that rewards are not as good for champs. So, Homer, you've got 11 wins. Do you think 11 wins you got rewarded adequately for 11 wins? I'm not talking about pack luck, but just generally the kind of packs you got and the kind of outcomes you got from those packs.
So pack wise, the packs were good. I got big packs. I'm just looking at my rewards here. I get 2 inform packs. I got Danny Welbeck twice, unfortunately. I got a couple of big packs. So I got Koundé, I got Julian Alvarez. I got
Nice.
Okay, that's good.
You got a promo pack as well. So I got Alex Berringer. Sorry, don't know how you say his name.
Yeah.
So the packs were decent. The rewards were okay. But like I said, it's this middle ground. There is no middle ground, and it's hard to figure out where that middle ground is. Like squad battles, I played because I use that to evil my Rangers team up. It gives me an excuse to play my Rangers team. The rewards are okay for what they're not amazing, but you're not competing against everybody else. It's not the same mentality you're using to play the games. Rush, I've only played Rush recently just to get your man Wolf from the MLS cards, because I'm a card collector. I like getting the cards, especially because we've got Gauntlet. Like I said, it goes back to that whole icon swap mentality. I always wanted to have the good cards for icon swaps. So now for Gauntlets, I like the card collecting again, because then it gives me that option. I don't always use the same teams when I go into Gauntlet. I build teams of every league, and then I see what ones are good. Generally, if for me, I play pretty much every mode. I've got enough time to do so, but if it's not fun and the rewards aren't good, I go and play something else. Being honest, I don't stick to FC. If I do stick to FC, I try and go and play a bit of pro clubs with some other friends or whatever. But I don't think there is much other than what Neil said.
I think one of the things that, for example, this current Gauntlet's rewards are quite lucrative. It is very, very good rewards for what you get for what you play compared to Champs. I think I played Champs, and sure, I think the rewards were tradable in Champs. So that I got luck. I didn't get very lucky, but I still made about 70 or 80,000 coins for 8 wins. So that was through some sheer fodder that was really high. So I got lucky with some of the fodder packs that I got, some of the packs that resulted in some fodder. But with Gauntlet, it just got me so many 8310s that I could just go ahead and recycle for the 85 7s, that I could go ahead and there was a whole recycle thing that I could do with Gauntlet rewards, whereas with the Champs rewards, it's just a couple of packs that you can pull through, and it's not as I didn't feel it as rewarding as at the time that I spent playing Gauntlet, which was far easier. I mean, it was just playing. So I think that's the balance that I really wish for season 2 we started to get much better rewards in Champs. I think you don't want it to be overly done, because then you don't want what happened last year where everyone's got like a whole heap of coins and then prices of cards go up. So I think they can do a little bit better with rewards for even for rivals. I think some of the rival rewards as well are slightly undercooked. They can slightly be better than what they are right now. Your thoughts, Neil, with the rivals rewards?
If they're going to be bringing out content equally to what they've brought out this week in SBCs, they'll have to up the rewards. They have to. There's no other way to do it. You can't do Busquets, Alba, Pogba.
Yeah.
You can't do them all. I don't think they're designed to be done as them all. I think they're cleverly doing it this year where they're making you think more about who you want to do. And if you choose one of them, maybe 2 max. But even at that, to do a Sergio Busquets, for instance, which is a top tier card, the rewards have to be slightly, not even better, just more of it, just slightly better fodder is what's going to have to be required. I think it will keep people engaged in the game as well. In that sense, I don't even remember what I got for my 7 wins of all. I don't remember what I got, so it clearly wasn't. It clearly wasn't memorable or whatever. However, sitting last night doing an Evo, and I was doing Maxence Lacroix, whatever his name is, 25 goals. I didn't even know I was doing the objective. It was 10:30 at night. Got 25 goals, having a screen player in my team. It was an 85 to an 87 rated player. Smashing a look at that. Why not? Get a nice bit of fodder. It flashed up blue. The hell's this? And it came up and I went, must be one of the heroes. Great. So it came up striker, just assumed it was George Campos. It was Alawiran. So I was so happy with that. That's a 500k player packed by just scoring 25 goals. It's just your luck, isn't it? And how you manage to pack them when you pack them. It's just the luck.
What a pull. Sorry, they did say in the patch notes at the bottom that they are boosting rewards in season 2.
Yes.
So they have listened in that aspect and they are improving them. So there is going to be a boost in rewards. So like that whole playing and not feeling that you are being rewarded will be boosted. Again, they're trying to keep the power curve under wraps. So there's only so much that they can do. Like you said, they flood the market too much with cards and coins. Everything comes too expensive. It runs away from them. If they flood it, everybody then does every SBC because they've got every card available to do So there has to be that limit of attainability and affordability and rarity to a degree, but they have promised they're going to boost the packs.
Yeah, I think we've got to wait and watch. I think I'm really happy with the fact that we're getting 8310s pretty frequently through Gauntlet, which will then feed into the 85 7s, which gives us fodder to do SBC slowly. It's not like I can collect all the SBC, I can collect all these 585 by 85, 87 packs and go to it in Busquets. No, not really. But over a period of time, if I say Busquets is in my mind, I can do it over a period of maybe 3 weeks. I can try and collect enough fodder to complete Busquets, which is good. I guess that's probably just got to be a bit more conservative with how you actually spend your fodder as well, which is not a bad thing. I think that the amount of FOMO that a lot of people have with trying to complete all these Busquets and Alba and Pogba and this and that and the icon packs and the hero packs, you're not going to get anywhere but trying to complete everything. Just try and focus your energies onto one pack, to one player, and then enjoy the game that way, I guess.
I think that's a good approach. I think that's a good
Yeah.
approach to it. Makes you think about it. It makes your SBC a bit more worthy as well.
Correct. Well, moving on, I think we'll just try and quickly go through formation and review. Neil, do you have any formation that you would like to review this week?
As much as I'm on this pod, nope, nothing to add. I've went back to
Nothing
I've went back to 4-2-3-1 solely because I feel as if I have to. It's the only formation that I can seem to get any joy out of, where I've got any defensive stability. I'm not just running about controlling CDMs. I'm quite keen to get the ball back, but I can't think of any. No formation seems to work for me at the moment. So I'm open. My ears are all open here, guys. So I'm listening.
I've got stuff for you, but Homer, do you have anything interesting this week that you've tried?
No, I'm still running my custom 4-4-2 that about. I have my 4-2-1-2 that I rely on, 4-4-1-1 if I need that little protection in that gap between midfield. I did see somebody promote a formation that you're going to talk about, and I gave it a couple tries. Just seeing out games, and it worked really nice. So, be interesting if it's the same one that you're going
to. Let me talk about the formation that I would like to review this week, because not only did I play pretty fairly okay with, but I really enjoyed my time. And I think there's certain specifics to this formation that really make it click, and it took me a while to figure that out. And I think some of the evos that came along the way helped me, and just relying on some of my gut instinct with certain cards. And the formation I'm trying to talk about is a 4-5-1. I know it's I thought a lot of people I think promoting the 4-5-1, but I just didn't think how it would work. But having 3 center midfielders, and all the 3 center midfielders, I have one on playmaker attack. So I've got Reindeers on playmaker attack. I've got the CCM, central midfielder, on box to box, which is Camavinga, the evolution version, and the left center midfielder on box to box as well. And that was Frankie de Jong. The one thing that all 3 of my center midfielders had in common is they all 3 had Tiki Taka Plus. And that has been revolutionary for me, the way I play the game, because I've just been able to just pass along sideways the whole game. I can just pass every time I get stressed in either the left side or the right side, or even my striker. I just pass it back to my central midfielders and hold the ball for a little while. Just pass it left to right, waiting for an opening. I'm not even pressing any R2. I'm not trying to rush through. I'm just holding the ball as much as I can. If it gets too hard, I just go back to my central backs or my full backs and start the attack again. Just having those 3 people in the midfield rather than just either relying on 2 people and losing the ball and being counted just gives you that flexibility. And having that Tiki-Taka Plus has really been, I think, one of the most important play style pluses going forward will be the Tiki-Taka Plus. And I think I'm going to have at least 1, if not 2, if not 3, of Tiki-Taka Plus going forward, because that just gives you so much comfort with your passing that you don't have to worry about misplacing a pass. In the box, you don't have to worry about misplacing a pass as well. And I think 4-5-1, if you haven't given it a shot, just give it a shot. Basic 3 center midfielders. You don't have to have a holding. Just let it be free. The wingers, you can either choose both as inside forward or go 1 inside forward and 1 winger. Striker and advance forward, and just go for your life. Just hold the ball. Don't press R2. Don't try and chase the goal. Just try and hold the ball, and you'll see how things just open up. And there's been so many times where I've just had a square pass, and I've had 3 people in line to take that square pass and score a goal, and that was a lot of fun. And I just really am enjoying using that formation. Give it a go. Definitely give it a go.
Try that. What's your depth and things like that?
It's actually on a counter, and it's got high depth and on a counter. That I haven't tried it on balance, because I think having that counter just gives that little bit of oomph to all the players, and they really. I think that Camavinga card that you're going to review, I think you will review that card, and I've really enjoyed using the evolution card. So, moving on to the player and review, Neil, would you like to give us a player and review of a card that we've both used that I think we both love?
Yeah, so I'll review. I've got Eduardo Camavinga, and I put him through Tiki Taka Plus first. I also put him through the composure and reactions Evo as well, and then I've put the Scream, whatever it's called, on him. He's now an
Big
85
man.
rated. Yes, that's that Evo. Centre mid, can play left back, CDM. He's French. So he plays for Real Madrid. He's got what? Let me quickly check. What's he got? He's got Tiki Taka Plus. He's got Jockey, Block, Technical, Bruiser, and Enforcer, which are all elite playstyles. It'd probably be a card if it was on the market. If that came out in the Scream promo, you'd be looking at what, 200k, 250k card, I would say.
More than that.
25k. Any place type is really good. Unique body type as well. Whatever chemistry you put on him doesn't really affect his stride. So he's really good. The tiki taka thing's really good. I've had the added dimension of him as well because not that I'm name dropping, but I packed a Claudio Marquisio in my hero pack. So he's now playing CDM. So I'm now playing Camavinga at left back, and he's just as good at left back. And the tiki taka at left back works very well as well from using passing from that area. He's a great addition. It's a really good Evo, if not one of the best Evos they've brought out so far this year. Really enjoying the card, and he's capable of playing CDM, CM, left back at a high level. So I'd recommend MD. There was a few names in contention I had for that. I looked at Guendouzi. He's always got good cards in the game.
Yes.
I looked at him and I thought, might do him, but Camavinga he's always stats, and his playstyle specifically across the board will just one that maybe, I'm going to do that. So recommend them to not use that Evo. I think it costs 25k. If she's not done that
Perfect.
Evo, it's a great player to use it on.
Fully, completely, 100% agree with whatever Neil said. It's just a phenomenal card. I'm really enjoying him as my central midfielder on box to box. He doesn't have a plus. I think he just has a plus, but he's just so good. He's good going forward, good going back. He's got 70 shooting, but I've scored quite a few goals with his 70 shooting. It's bizarre. He's just so composed.
I put him in box crasher, even though he's not got a plus role. And he could finish, so he's got an all-round game about him. Yeah,
nice one. Now, Homer, who is the card that you would like to talk about?
So I've went with Madison Haley. She's the American right winger that plays for Brighton. She's mainly because it's a role plus. I like players that will fit what I want them to do. So she's right mid and right wing, a winger plus. If for any reason I need to change the shape, she go for the game or whatever, she can play poacher plus. She can play false nine plus. She's got other plus roles. She's got low driven. She's got ping pass. She's got whip pass. She's got rapid and quick step, which goes nicely with her 90 pace. And she's got relentless, so she can run about quite a long time. She's not the best player in the world, but she's amazingly good at just being a winger, being out wide. She can ping a pass in. She can whip the pass in. She can beat a man. She just does the job that I want her to do.
Amazing. I've got a couple of her on my transfer list. Just a tip for everyone: if you're listening to this and you have wondering what to do with the Scream cards, just pick up a few cheap Scream cards, because I have a feeling they will go up in price based on, I think before the November the 5th, before they get the 99 stat, there will be some excitement on these cards. And yeah, I think if you don't pick it up right now, just wait for the FIFA points drop, AFC points drop on the 1st of November. There could be some panic that you could probably buy in. Yeah, so Madison Haley would be a really good option for you. Just buy one, try it out and see. You're not going to lose any coins. And yeah, it's worth a shot. Nice one, Homer. Always unique cards. I like it.
Yeah.
I've got this unique card that no one's heard of. It's Paul Pogba. I did the PPPP, which is the Paul Pogba player pick, and every inch of my body really wanted to take the Cam card, but I just went with my head and I took the CDM card. All I want to say is he doesn't fit into my first team. Just shame on me for getting it done, but I just couldn't pass upon a Paul Pogba card with 5-star skills, 4-star weak foot, who could be Evo in the future, unique body size. He's huge. He's humongous in game. One of the things I really enjoy with the Paul Pogba card, I bring him on, especially when I'm winning, as a sub, as my central midfielder. And just having that 5-star skills allows me to just play around with him. And when you're playing confident with a Paul Pogba, he is so much fun with the 5-star skills. he can get through people, and especially when you're in a lead. So, for example, if I'm 4-2 in a champs game and the 75th minute, the opponent is trying to get the ball off me, and that just opens up so much space by doing one flick. I use some of his flare passes. I just do the skills just flow really well for his body size. The only trouble is if when I've started with him in the game and tried to do those things in maybe the 20th minute and things, when the opposition is fresh and very measured, they don't fly. He just seems very sluggish. He doesn't move along. He doesn't charge. With Pogba, because he's lengthy as well, as soon as you do that skill and you get away, he will take off. And it's I've really enjoyed having a 5-star skiller in midfield as well. So not recommending anyone to just go out and get a Pogba if you just based on this review, but if you have any connection with Paul Pogba, if you used his cards in the past, this is definitely worth a shot. He probably may not be your starter, but especially in Gauntlet, he's been a lot of fun in Gauntlet as well. And I think I will evo him when it's possible, and I will have a lot of fun. Those 5-star skills are beautiful on him.
Do you wish they made the cam slightly better?
I definitely wish they made the cam slightly better. That just slightly better with shooting and a little bit more dribbling on the cam. I probably would have chosen the cam.
I did the CDM. I would have loved to. I did the CDM. I'd have loved to had the cam Pogba, just 6 foot, whatever. Is a incisive pass is a cool play style to have, but I wish they made them slightly better. I wish they made them slightly better than what they did.
Did you find him a bit sluggish in midfield as well? Like when you start,
he's a bit clunky, yeah.
Yeah, I think if you bring him on, just wiggle the right stick, and he does things that really good, really good. I really enjoyed skilling with him. Everything else, passing not so great, shooting not so great, dribbling not so great, skills and dribble brilliant, really top notch. I really enjoy that. Righty. Does anyone have anything else to add on before we shut down for the week?
Yourself, Dale?
No.
Nothing to add from me. Just keep having fun.
Yeah, just keep having fun. Look, let's just see how this gameplay goes, and let's just see what the end of the season brings us, because the season ends tomorrow. So let's just hope that we get season 2 with a bang. We get brand new rewards, and things are up. And I'm really looking forward to I think it's a Brazilian theme. So I'm really looking forward to grinding out some of the Brazilian icons, and yeah, looking forward to that. Let's see how things go. So in the interest of time, let's go back to doing it. What do we do, Neil?
Drop it.
Perfect.
Drop it.
And I'm going to drop it. Thanks.